All right. So the last two lecture we simplify trigonometric expression, right? We verify identities. There will be solving trigonometric equation. But before we do that, we have to take care of some formula, right? So when you solve something, you need formula, right? Some and different formula. Let's take a look at this. I don't want to call a unit circle, just circle. I'm not sure if the radius is 1 though. Okay. So let's call it a circle. Let's try to find the coordinate of P1 first. P1. You don't really have to write down note for this part if you don't want to. It's not going to be on the exam, right? We're not going to ask you to construct these. So we give it to you when you apply to the problem. So it's just my job to explain it to you where it come from. That's all. So maybe just listen. I post the notes on anyway. So P1, the angle P1, if you look at the circle, the angle is S plus T, right? The arc length angle is S plus T. So remember, so if you recall the unit circle, if you recall the unit circle like that, right? If I ask you if this is the angle theta, then if I ask you to find the cosine of theta, what do you do? Or sine of theta, what do you do? To plug in the angle, right, for the function. So this right here, that point right there is cosine of theta, comma, sine theta. Oops. Whatever theta may be, right, could be. So similarly, if I ask you what is plus t, so the coordinate of P1 will be cosine of S plus t. S plus t is your angle. And then sine of X plus t. So far, so good. Where S plus t is your new theta. Similarly, let's find P1. Oh, P1 is easy. Can someone tell me what is the coordinate for P1? I'm sorry, P naught, P0. We just found P1. Let's shoot. Can someone tell me what's the coordinate of P naught? The black dot. Assume it's unit circle would be what? Yeah, 1, 0, right? If it's not unit circle, what did you say? R0, right? The radius is R. But let's assume that, should I assume that R? Yeah, let's assume that 1, 0. Let's assume that 1, 0. Let's say this is the unit circle. Similarly, Q1 I denote in red. So now the angle for Q1 is that one. It'll be T, right? It will be T right there. So Q1. So I'm sorry, the coordinate of Q1 will be cosine of T, comma sine of T, where T is your some angles. And last but not least, Q naught. In yellow, Q naught. Is the negative angle, which is negative S. So the cosine of negative S, sine of negative S. What's cosine of negative S equal to? Huh? Cosine of S, right? Is an even function, right? What about the cosine of sine of negative S? What do you do? What do you do with the negative? You kind of factors to the front, right? I don't want to. It's wrong for me to say that, but in a sense, you just kind of move it to the front. All right, so now we've established those coordinates. Your next part, I'm gonna recall some distant formula. Do you guys remember distant formula? Right. D equals square root of the difference of the first point square plus the distance of the second point square. So if I want to find the distance between P1 and P naught, P1 and P naught, so these two right here, P1 and P naught. Think of it, this is your X1, this is your Y1, this is your X, this is your X2, this is your Y2. You don't have to write these down, just explanation. All right, X, so square root of X1 minus X2, X1 minus X2. So cosine of S plus T, that's my X1, minus X2 will be 1, right? X2 is 1. Square plus y1 is sine of S plus T minus minus y2, which is 0. So far so good. Well, the second square is easy, right? This is 0, so just kind of ignore that. So basically it's just what S sine of S plus T, all of that square, which is become what sine square S plus T, right? So that is that part. The third part is slightly involved. You have to write out twice and multiply them, right, for it. So the second part was, I'm talking about this one right here. Let's void this. So x plus y squared, you write out twice, right? X plus y times x plus y. So in this case, will be cosine of S plus T times cosine of S plus T. It's a lot of parentheses. Let me do brackets, so just to indicate. Let me do bracket like that so they can see it better. Foil it first, right? So cosine S plus T times cosine X plus T is equal to, let me put here, is equal to cosine square S plus T, right? That's the first term. Outer, foil, right? F-O-I-L, foil, outer. Cosine S plus T times T. Oh, I'm sorry, that's minus 1. I'm sorry. I remember as T minus 1. My apology. Minus 1. Cosine X plus T time negative 1. That's negative cosine of S plus T I inner, right? Negative 1 times cosine S plus T is negative cosine S plus T again. And then L will be last. Negative 1 times negative 1 is plus 1. Is there anything that I can simplify? Is there any term that I can combine? The 2, right? Those 2, they have a coefficient of negative 1, right? So negative 1 becomes negative 2. And then cosine square S plus T is this term. And then bring the 1 up here. Remember this one, we talked about that one. Pythagorean theorem, is there anything that you can simplify for this part? Anybody see Pythagorean theorem? Yes, right. All right. This cosine square, sine square, right? Sine square cosine plus cosine square is 1. And then add another 1 here, which is give you the 2 there. And then you bring down the negative 2 cosine s plus t. That's it. You're done simplifying, right? You stop. Done, I'm stopped. There's the next distance will be Q1 and not Q naught. I'm not gonna go through this. It's pretty much similar. Just a waste of time. So long story short, it has a distance of square root of 2 minus 2 cosine s cosine t plus 2 sine s sine t.
All we use med school is like really like volunteer based. So
Yeah.
it's like they see a lot of volunteers and they like it.
Yeah.
So like it's really good. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do some like community
Rafael,
service.
can you
That's
mute
good.
yourself?
How about the community?
Now the distance P1 P naught is this one. Let me make it a little less. P1 Q naught. I know that the two distances are equal. There's proven thing, but let's just say they're equal, right? There's a proof behind it, but we're not gonna go through that. Those two distances are equal. That means I'm gonna set up the two square root equal, right? You set them equal to each other. Right here, you set them equal to each other. Square both sides. Right? Square is gone. Subtract both sides by 2. So subtract 2 from both sides. Two is gone, right? Next, you're going to divide both sides by negative 2. So the left-hand side is become positive cosine s plus t. The right-hand side is going to be positive cosine s cosine t minus sine s sine t. There you have the first sum formula of cosine. I know what you're thinking. Well, if you have a sum of cosine, there's going to be a sine, right? And you're right, there's another one. There will be some formula for sine. And on top of that, you have cosine of s plus t. What about cosine of s minus t, right? All you have to do is what? Replace the positive t with the negative t. And then you have that, right? Here is all 4 of them. Without loss of generality, we're not going to go through that again. We already did one. And there's tangent one too, right? There's cosine, there's sine, and then the tangent one. And they will be given to you on the exams. You guys try number 1. This should be, you don't need any new knowledge to do number 1. All I want you to do is evaluate that expression, right? Why don't you try number 1? Remember, they ask for exact values, meaning no approximation. Pull up your unit circle. Pull it up. I have to remember the unit circle. But there's a trick. For me, there's a little trick. So if I have an angle here, if I want to know what is cosine, what is sine, what do? Is I just project it to the y-axis and x-axis. Well, this one looks like 1/2. If this one 1/2, so that's my what? That's my sine, right? This one better be what? There are only 3 of them. 1/2, √2/2, and then 3/3, right? So this one better be √3/3. And then, well, the middle one is always the same, right? √2/2. And then the third one, 5/3, which is this angle. Again, I look down. This one will look like a 1/2, so that's 1/2 of side. And then this better be √2. So that's how I remember it. But to give me, like, if you ask me, like, abruptly, like, what is the cosine of 2π/3, I wouldn't know. I just have to draw it out. All right, what is cosine π/3 equal? √3/2, right? π/3. Is it 1/2? 1/2, sorry. 1/2 there, sorry, 1/2. See, if I remember it, I remember wrong. Don't remember things. You don't have to. So 1/2 cosine of π/4, that's 45 degrees, is always √2/2 minus sine of π/3, √3/2 times √2/2. And then all you have to do is multiply across, right? 1 times √2 is √2/4 minus square root of 3 times square root of 2 is square root of 6/4. Or you want to convert into one fraction, you can do √2 minus √6/4. That's the exact values. What about number 2? Well, I don't see it. Is there a angle 110 degree on your unit circle? No, right? No. So what we have to do is we're gonna use the formula. Right? We're gonna use the formula. So look at tangent. Look like it look like this one, right? It look like that one. Tangent S minus tangent T. Tangent 110 minus tangent 50 over 1 plus tangent S times tangent T. Okay. So all you have to do is reverse it. They give you the right hand side. You want to write it like the left hand side. So here my S is 110, my T is 50. So this is equal to tangent of S minus T, so 110 minus 50. Tangent is 60. What's tangent at 60 degree equal? Maybe I can help you out. Let me insert something here. I know I have a formula here. Here. 60 degree, right here. Tangent is sine over cosine, so √3, right? Just √3. That's what they meant by exact value. You give me the exact value. I don't want 1.6 something, right? I don't want decimals. That's approximation. Number 3 is your you try one. All right. Next objective. What if I want you to find the exact value of some angle that you cannot find it on the unit circle? You don't have 75 on unit circle, but you have 30, 45, 60, things like that, right? But you don't have 75. So what you want to do is you want to use a formula, right? You want to break it up 75 into something that you can look up on the unit circle. So I'm gonna make a something plus something. But those two number you better be able to look up on the unit circle. So what do you think? What will you break it up to? Yeah, 45 and 30, right? Or 30 and 45. 30 plus 45, 75, so we didn't change anything. And once you have that, you can use the formula, right? So this is your S, and this is your T. Don't write this down. That's your T. Tangent of S plus T. Look it up here. Tangent of S plus T is tangent S plus tangent T divided by 1 minus tangent S tangent T. So this is equal to tangent of 30 plus tangent of 45 over 1, so 1 minus or 1 plus? 1 minus. 1 minus tangent with the tangent 45. And you look up on unit circle, what tangent of 30 degree equal to? Right there, 30 degree. Tangent is 1 over root 3, right? 1 over root 3. Don't worry about the rationalizing. So 1 over root 3. One over root 3 plus tangent of 45 degrees, sine and cosine the same, so it should be 1. Right? Can I write it 1 over 1? Is that okay? You know, just write 1 for now. We'll do 1 over 1 later. Over 1 minus tangent of 30 is 1 over root 3 times tangent of 45 is 1. One step at a time, right? You give me one step at a time, you got partial credit. Don't leave it like that. Do not plug in your calculator either because I want exact values, right? What your best bet is you simplify it, right? Remember, this is complex fraction. What I say about complex fraction, what do you have to make? Yeah, one fraction at the top, one fraction at the bottom. All you have to know, right? And just one step at a time. So let's take care of the numerator. The LCD will be what the LCD of the numerator? Yeah, root 3, right? So this the second number 1 is missing root 3, so root 3 over root 3. Let me put this over 1. So the top, you have the same common denominator now, which is root 3. Add the cross, add the top across, so 1 plus root 3. Now you take out the numerator. Pretty much the same, right? LCD is also root 3. So root 3 minus 1 over root 3. One fraction on the top, one fraction on the bottom. Flip multiply, right? So the first fraction is 1 plus root 3 over root 3. Now times root 3 over root 3 minus 1. Simplification. root 3 cancel, right? Again, I hope nobody doing this. Oops. Please don't simplify because they're being attached with the 1, right? So all you have to do is rewrite it. So it's 1 plus root 3 over root 3 minus 1. Should I rationalize? No, I'll leave it like that. They just, you don't waste your time. They just want the exact answer, and that is the exact answer. You don't have to rationalize. Okay, good. Number 5 is your U try 2. Exactly the same thing that we did in number 4. Right, so let's see, let's recap. So we construct the formula. If for those of you who missed that part, it's okay. It's not going to be an exam. All the formula will be given. For the second objective, we convert something that we can't find on the unit circle to something that we can find on the unit circle. Right? Number 6. Now, what if I just give you some values of cosine and psi? I want you to evaluate the sum of formula. Say, I want you to evaluate psi of A plus B. Your first thing first, I want you to do is write out the formula. Repeat the formula. So psi of A plus B, you look it up here. Psi of A plus B. This one, right? Psi of S plus T. Psi cosine plus cosine. Psi of S cosine T plus cosine S cosine psi T. All right. So that means psi of A cos B plus psi of B cosine of A. So far, so good. I just repeat the formula. Just make sure that there's nothing repeat itself. If you have psi A here, the other one better be psi B, right? Or whatever letter it is. I don't want to see psi A again. You just flip the angle around. Now I have cosine A. Don't write this part. I have cosine A. I have psi B. But I don't have psi A and cosine B. I don't have these two. I have to look for it. So let's look for it. Maybe I'll use red for cosine B. If they give you something, try to draw it on the unit circle. So they're my 4 quadrant. Cosine of A, I'm going to start with this one first. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to start with that one. Cosine of A is negative 15 over 17. A is lying in quadrant 2. All right, quadrant 2. That's my angle A. Right. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent is going to be negative 15. Hypotenuse is going to be positive 17. Does it make sense to you? In the second quadrant, you have a negative x, yeah, right? The radius is always positive because it's distance. Can you find the height? Can you find y? Yes, you can, right? Pythagorean theorem. So you have, if you look at the picture, you have y squared plus negative 15. Make sure you put -15 inside the parenthesis, okay? Because -15 parentheses square is not the same as -15 without this parentheses square. Right? Or just don't put the negative at all if you don't want to. Just plus 15 square equals 17 square. If you plug in your calculator, y squared is equal 64. Y equal plus minus 8. What should I choose, positive 8 or negative 8? Second quadrant. Positive, right? Because second quadrant, you still have a positive height. So y equal positive 8. So y equal 8. Now you can find sides of A, right? Side A is opposite, which is 8, divided by hypotenuse, which is 17. So 8 divided by 17. Cosine B is going to be in the quadrant 1. By the way, angle A and angle B are not equal. Don't assume that they're equal. They have different values. Side B is opposite, which is 4, over hypotenuse, which is 5. Now I need to find x here. Same thing, right? X squared plus 4 squared equal 5 squared. 4 squared 16, 5 squared 25. 25 minus 15 is 9. So x squared equal 9. X equal plus 3 because of first quadrant. We have something like this on the exam. When I ask you to find the, I don't remember exactly. I think it's tangent cosine inverse of, I'm just gonna make up some number here. So something like that. Remember that? I asked you to evaluate, and you let this one equal to what? To theta, right? So you draw it up. All right. Long story short, is cosine B. Now I can evaluate cosine of B, which is adjacent, is 3 over hypotenuse, which is 5. So this right here is 3 over 5. You know what side B is? Side B is 4 over 5. Cosine A is negative 15 over 17. Make sure between them the multiplication and between the two group is plus. Let me ask you a question. I never use those calculators. Your scientific calculator, when you plug in fraction, would it give you the answer in fraction or decimal? Decimal? Is there any way you can change into fraction? No. Some calculator give you a fraction. Oh, okay. Thank you, Amber. Yeah, but thank you. No. I gotta say so she know that I read her message. Thank you. So you what do you say you? I'm not now because I don't have time. But okay. So she said that you'll be able to. Okay, look it up. I want you to do the exam because I don't want you to do all that work and I got the wrong answer. It's just silly mistake, right? Have to push second PRB. All right, Amber said second PRB. PRB is probability. And then you choose math or something like that, Amber? You choose like fraction? Something like that. 8 over 17. 3 over... What you guys have? What's your answer? Right. This is graphing calculator, so but I just want to ask you, see how easy it is. Plus, let's make it minus because plus minus become, let's make it minus. Minus 4 over 5. And then 15 over 17. And now I want to change to fraction. I have to go to math. Frac right there, press enter twice. Negative 36 over 85. Right. So what you have? All right. So what's the answer again? I forgot. Negative 36 over 85. All right, thank you. Thank you, Amber. Really bad memory. So so do you have any question on part A? Let me ask you something. Don't write this down. Is psi of A plus B equal psi A plus psi B? Don't write that down. Just scrap. It's lagging. It is equal this. No, right? I know it's very tempting, like, oh, I'm gonna distribute the sign. It tempted, but no. Remember, what's A plus B is part of sign, right? It's part of your input. It's kind of like this. Don't write this down. It's kind of like square root of 3 plus 5. It is not equal to square root of 3 plus square root of 5. Now you cannot split it up like that. So no, I know it's tempted, but do not distribute. The sign, it needs input. If you just tell me psi, it makes no sense. Right? You have to give me some angle. So psi A is, we calculate psi A. Psi A is 8 over 17, right? A over 17. And then psi B is given. Psi B is 4 over 5. And use your calculator. What you got? Can someone tell me the answer in fraction? People, Zoomer, you can put your answer in the chat if you have one. 108, Amber got 108 over 85. Is that what you guys have? I need a confirmation, so I don't want to switch my screen back and forth. Oh, I can use my phone. All right, thank you, Amber. I got the same too. 108 over 85. Um, part C, you have to use formula, okay? Please do not distribute the tangent. I know it's tangent, but please don't do that. There's a formula for it. Tangent of A plus B equal tangent of A plus tangent of B over 1 minus tangent of A times tangent of B. Let me double check. I don't remember. Yes, I got it right. Okay. Can someone tell me what tangent of A is? Yeah, tangent is, we use the one in blue there. Tangent A is opposite, which is A over adjacent, which is A over negative 15. And then tangent of B opposite is 4 over adjacent is 3. So 4/3. Over 1 minus negative A over 15 times 4 over 3. I want you to practice that. Give me the final answer. And on the exam, these part, I know it looked trivial, but it's important. It saves you time and you practice at home first, right? Becomes a muscle memory, right? You see it, I know how to do this. Quick. Let's do the top first. What you got? Again, Zoomer, you can put your answer in the chat. So far, I only see Amber paying attention to me. I don't know about the rest of you. What you got? Oh, I got something else. Maybe I got it wrong. Let me check. See my note. I got something else though. Let me double check my calculation. Negative A over 15 plus 4/3. Okay, which is 4/5. And then the bottom is 1 plus, right? Remember, minus minus become plus. 18 was A over 15 4/3. Okay. I'm sorry. I add. I'm instead of multiply. So x, I should say x divided by my last operation was wrong. Divided by 7 divided by. Okay, I got 30. I got 36 over 77. Is that what you have? 36 over 77. Thank you very much. D, you try 3. We back to multiple choice. You try now. Say, I can. 7, 7. That's my 7. Your next question is, what quadrant does A plus B lies in? And you look at the picture. Don't look at the picture. It's very deceitful, right? I want A plus B. I don't want just A and B, right? I want A plus B, right? So what you want, your best bet is to pick either what? To pick either this part or this part and then do the inverse, right? To find out what A plus B is. So say let's pick a tangent of A plus B. From part C, we have tangent, let's leave a little space, tangent of A plus B equal 36, leave a little space again, 36 over 77. So far, so good. Let me ask you something. Don't write this down. What is the domain of tangent inverse? Anybody remember? The domain of the tangent inverse. If you forgot, draw it out. Do you remember the graph of tangent? It looked like this, right? It's something like a railroad track, right? And between them, there's what? Yeah, asymptote, right? So that's tangent. The one I'm drawing right here is tangent of t. Remember, inversely swap domain and range, right? So if you look at the tangent, I know the domain is everything but except these asymptote, right? What is the range? Everything, right? So that means if the range of the tangent t is everything, then the domain of a tangent inverse is everything, right? The domain range they swap. I say I don't remember much, but nobody can take this away from me because I can always derive it. Right? So this implies tangent inverse. If I were to add tangent inverse both sides like that, I do not worry about what is the angle of tangent inverse. I do not worry I don't care about what that part is, right? Because it's always going to be defined. Right? Tangent inverse takes everything. So that means if it takes everything, I can cancel, yes? I can cancel, so that means A plus B equal tangent inverse of 36 over 77. Tangent inverse, what quadrant you looking for? What quadrant for tangent inverse? Side would be quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. Cosine quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. Tangent inverse is quadrant 1 and quadrant 4, just like sine, right? Here, let me give you something maybe to help you on the final exam. So sine inverse, tangent inverse, you look for quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. For cosine inverse and cotangent inverse, you look for quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. Maybe you want to write that down. When I say quadrant, when I specify quadrant, you are not allowed to pass through those, right? So if I ask you, yeah, you're not allowed. Say for example, for sine or tangent inverse, you are not allowed to pass in through quadrant 3, quadrant 2, right? All right, let's plug in your calculator. Oh, by the way, what quadrant do you think your answer is gonna be? Before we actually evaluate, what quadrant you think you're thinking? 1, right? Because they're positive, right? You have positive Because quadrant 1, you have a positive x and negative y. So this might better be negative, but then you have positive, so it's going to be quadrant 1. Plug in your calculator, what you got. Put your both in degrees, so let me check my mole in degree. I thought I put it in degree. I have 25, not roughly 25. Okay. Something degree. But I mean in quadrant 1. Or you can deduct from the really this step right here. So, like I said, you can use sine of a plus b as well. You should have the same answers as I do. Let me double check. Sine inverse. Let's see. Let me see. Sine inverse of negative 36. Something wrong. No, you use tangent. You use tangent. Use tangent. You still have the same angle, 25, but it's gonna be a negative. Did we get that right? What's the no, negative 36 is right. Right, last slide, yay. This one is reviewing from the yesterday we did, but now we have more option of verifying identity, right? Because you have more formulas now. I want to verify the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side. So let's start with the left-hand side. It look complicated. Right? So I should rewrite the left-hand side. The numerator of the left-hand side, that's the sum of formula, yeah. And if you look it up, cosine of a plus b, cosine of s plus t is cosine s, cosine t, minus sine s, minus sine t. So cosine, all right, minus. So it's gonna be cosine a, cosine over the denominator, which is cosine a times cosine b. Don't write this down. If you have a plus b, all of that over c, right? I'm gonna do the same thing with my problem. I'm gonna break it up into two fractions. Cosine a, cosine b, over the common denominator, which is cosine a, cosine b, minus sine a, sine b, over cosine a, cosine b. The first fraction is 1. Sine a, cosine a, that's tangent a, right? Sine b, cosine b, that's tangent b. think I'll leave it like that. So equal 1 minus tangent A times tangent B, just equal to the right hand side. So practice, because you on this chapter, you on this section, you know what to use. On the exam, you don't, right? Everything look kind of the same. So practice, make it perfect. You just all right. Number 8. I want you to simplify. No longer a verifying. I just want to simplify that. Let's take care of this one first. Cosine of A plus B. Let's change that into something. It's gonna be cosine A plus B. We did that top right there, right? Cosine A, cosine B. It'll be cosine A, cosine B minus sine A minus sine B. Oh, sorry, times sine B. Duh, times sine B. So that means the first two terms, I need to change it into cosine or sine, right? And it's cosecant, so it's gonna be sine. So that one change to 1 over sine A, and this one change into 1 over sine B. What should I do next? Distribute, right? Yeah, multiply, distribute, right? So I'm gonna do two at the same time. So if you distribute that, it's gonna have cosine A cosine B over sine A and sine B minus sine A sine B over sine A sine B. That part is 1. Cosine over sine will be, yeah, cotangent, right? There you go. So you have cotangent A times cotangent B minus 1. Any questions on the first two? Number 9, back to verify again. I just spin you around, which is good because that's what happened on the exam. Left hand side, right? Why don't I choose right hand side? Tell me why don't I choose right hand side? I'm gonna choose left hand side. Why? Because there's a formula, right? That I can change it to sine A plus B, sine A minus B. So left hand side, sine of A plus B times sine of A minus B. They don't put a little multiplication between, but I am going to, just to distinguish. What's sine A plus B? You look it up here. Sine S plus T is sine S cosine T plus cosine S sine T. Okay, all right, so sine, cosine, and plus. Plus sine B cosine A. And then for the minus, it's the same thing. It's just switching the plus to the minus. So psi A cosine B minus psi B cosine A. Any question there? So far, so good. What do you see? Huh? Tell me in algebra, maybe in algebra, so you don't have to all that side thing. What is it? What is the, in terms of algebra, what's the formula for it? Yeah, right. This is your A, psi A cosine B, psi A cosine B, right? And this is your B, right? And all you do is just square those two, right? So it's gonna be psi A cosine B, all of that square, minus psi B cosine A, all of that square. Watch out for these, okay? On the exam, you panic, very easy to make mistake. I can rewrite this as this. If I distribute the square, it's gonna be psi square A cosine square B, right? Minus psi square B cosine square A. Remember, these are one thing. Don't treat them as individual. This is not psi times A, psi of A, right? Those are one thing. Think of it, that's your purse. That's your backpack. Belong to you. All right, here's the fun part. Maybe fun to me, but not to you. But I'm going to change this cosine squared B into a Pythagorean theorem. Can someone tell me what it is? Yeah, 1 minus psi squared B, right? And then you do the same thing for this guy, cosine squared A. So minus psi squared B times 1 minus psi squared A. Your last part is to distribute. Psi squared A minus psi squared A, psi squared B minus psi squared B plus psi squared B, psi squared A. Don't go yet. There's something I like to, I want to go through the syllabus. So I got my plan for your finals. Do you agree? This one cancel? Psi A, psi B is same thing, psi B, psi A, right? So your final answer is the right-hand side, right? Psi squared A minus psi squared B, which is the right-hand side. All right, let's take a look at your syllabus real quick. We have 2 minutes. We are today. Yay, 1 more week, roughly. Well, maybe 2 weeks, because you have to study for the final. Remember what I said last time, half your final will come from what? After exam 3. So these right here, this is not the time to miss the class. That's your half of your final. So those right there are important, right? That's half your grade from the final. I'm going to, last year the final exam was 17 questions. So I'm trying to make sure that there's no more than 17 questions, okay? What I'm going to do is once we have the review for finals, I'm going to highlight this problem for you like I did last time to focus on. and I'm going to make a video like I did in exam series I have. Right. I can't do all 17 questions, but maybe it's some that I think you may have trouble with. Okay. All right, that's my plan. Yes. I graded it. Jeff graded it. Grateful of Sarah. So far, it looked good. I don't want to jump the gun, but at least half the class look good. Right. All right, have a good weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye, Zoomer. Oh, they're gone.